What's going on, everybody? This is Coach D, and today I'm going to show you how to set up Mailerlite integration with HBA Funnel Builder. I'm going to give it to you in an easy step-by-step tutorial. All right. Now, here's the deal. I had someone reach out to me, and they were asking me, "Hey, does HBA integrate with the Mailerlite autoresponder?" All right. And at first, I wasn't sure. I was like, "Well, let me check real quick." Right. And then I found awesomely that it does. I said, "You know what? That person will probably need a video or some training, or any of my other subscribers will need a training on how to go ahead and integrate that and set that up inside of HBA." So I put this together just for you guys. All right. Now, one thing I did learn too about Mailerlite, it actually looks pretty cool, as an autoresponder, because you can get a free account. All right. That allows you to have up to 500 subscribers. I'm like, all right, that's pretty dope, pretty dope. And some of the autoresponders out there, you know what I'm saying, they actually limit you on some things when you're on the free account, but it looks like they don't have many limits, on the free account, as far as like the features or whatever. That's how it looks. And it was pretty simple to put together. I won't lie. All right. So you're gonna see that on this training that I'm gonna do for you. And of course, I'm hooking it up with HBA Funnel Builder because, man, that's the funnel builder to have, right? No matter if you're making funnels, no matter if you're making websites, no matter if you're making just pages for people to go ahead and book appointments with you. All right. If surveys, membership sites, all of that is unlimited inside of the HBA Funnel Builder. So it's a perfect match. So, fella who reached out to me, you did a good thing, man. You on the right track, bro. All right. So, and of course, if you want to grab that and join me in HBA, I have a link down below so you can get started. So without further ado, let me go ahead and jump into this training and show you step by step how you do this thing. Let's get it. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we actually have to make sure that you have a domain name, all right, because you need to get an email address that's connected to your domain name, okay? Because what happens is if you don't have that, for one, it didn't look like you could even set it up if you didn't have one, for one. But for two, it helps with your email deliverability, right? Had to say that slow so I could say it right, right? When you have it set up to a domain name, instead of like a Gmail account or a Yahoo account. Okay. Now I'm going to show you how to get one. If you already have one, cool, then you can, skip to the next step and all that stuff. But if you don't have one yet, I'm going to show you where I get mine at Ionos. All right. And don't worry, I'll put a link down below so you can go ahead and grab it, because they do have discounts when if you're a first time customer. But I like to use them for different reasons. You know what I'm saying? They have customer support whenever I need, some help. They give me a free email account. You know what I'm saying? It's just simple to use as well. So Ionos is the one that I'm going to show you. But of course, if you already have a email address that's connected to your domain name, if you already have that, then you can use that. So it's not even a problem. All right. So let's continue. All right, one of the main things I like about using Ionos is that when you get a domain name from them, you also get an email address, a business email address as well, one that has your domain name on it. So we go here, just click over to where you can get to your domains. You'll see your domains listed, and then you just scroll to the one that you want to set up your email address for. And then I'll just use this one right here because I haven't connected that to an email address yet. So once you find the one that you want, you go over here to the right column, hit three dots, and then you want to go down to create email address if you haven't already created one. So scroll down, create email address. All right, and you'll notice that these say order. You go into the one that says create because that lets you know that's the one that you have access to. So move this over. All right. All right. And now you're going to create the email address. Basically, just give it a name like you might say support or help, whatever you want to name it as. So I'll just put what I wanted in there. And then underneath, you can put where you want those emails to forward to. Because when someone emails you, you can, of course, log into Ionos and check that email account directly, just like you would log into your Gmail or log into your Yahoo account, right? But what I like to do is I like to forward it to one of my other email addresses that I'm already going to be checking anyway. Whatever your typical business email address is, one that you made. When I say business, means you get a lot of emails from your business, whether it be your online business, offline business, whatever the case may be. Mine is a Gmail account. I get a lot of emails there. So I'll just put in my Gmail account, but you could put in whatever account you want here. This one doesn't have to be domain specific. So I'll just put in my Gmail address. All right, we'll hit save. All right, and now the forwarding is set up. You can actually add more email addresses if you wanted to forward it to, and you can put them all in at once, or you can just come back here if you want to add one and just follow the prompts, hit this little arrow here. Then you can go up here, it says add forwarding. Then you go down here and notice it says you use 1 of 10. That means you can forward it up to 10 email addresses. So you would just add in another one here if you wanted to and just separate it by comma. All right. But I'm just going to put in 1. So now that is basically how you set up that free email account that you're going to get because you got the domain name with Ionos. Like I said, that's why I definitely use it. All right, now we'll want to take your domain name and integrate it or authenticate it actually inside of Mailerlite, um, your email address, your domain email address that you did. So you want to come over here from the dashboard, go down to account settings over on the left, click that. And then the next thing you're going to do is come up here to where it says domains. And you want to go over here and say add domain. And this is where you want to put the email address, all right, that your domain email address that you created, like we just did. So I'll just go ahead and put in the one that I created. All right, then you hit save. All right, now you'll see this is where you can actually authenticate it right here. Okay, now you can do it automatic or manual. All right, if your provider is not automatically detected when we hit continue, then you're gonna have to go to manual method. Now we're not gonna cover the manual method on this video. Another reason why it's good to go with Ionos for your domain provider, aside from the price being good and getting the free email address, right? Is because that is one that's going to be automatically detected. So you don't have to worry about dealing with the manual authentication. But of course, if in the future you have to deal with the manual authentication because you didn't follow my advice, then just hit up support inside of Mailerlite. But for this video, we're going to do the automatic method because simple is great. And we're going to hit continue. And notice it detected Ionos because that's what we're using. So it detected it. And we're going to hit authorize with Ionos. All right. And at the time, I'll just let you know too that if it prompts you to log into Ionos, then you'll need to log in. Personally, I'm already logged into Ionos, so it didn't prompt me to have to log in. All right. So go ahead and hit connect. All right, and it says the process has finished, and it says it's now configured, but it did say that the process could, the whole thing could take up to 48 hours. All right, so just keep that in mind as well. Hit done. All right, now while that's going, we can go ahead and go and set up the rest of our stuff. We don't actually have to wait until that happens because remember, it can take up to 48 hours for the domain to go ahead and be cleared. We don't have to wait for that to happen. We can go ahead and set everything up. The only thing is until that domain is, authenticated inside of Mailerlite, you won't actually be able to send emails yet, but we're going to move forward so that way we can finish setting everything up. And as you can see, as we were saying that, a pop-up came up and said your domain is authenticated. So it's letting us know that ours is actually finished. All right, now we're going to actually create a group because when our leads, when your leads opt into your page, they need to actually fall into a group. Now, in other autoresponders, it may be called a list, but in Mailerlite, it's called a group, but it means the same thing. They're going to drop into that group, okay? So to create a group, real simple, we come back over to your dashboard right here. So just make sure you're on the dashboard, all right? And then you go down to subscribers, hit subscribers, and then you come over to groups, hit groups. All right, and it says you don't have any groups, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and hit create group. and you're just going to give that group a name. I recommend that you give it a name that you would recognize, where that traffic came from, where those leads came from. All right, so I'm just going to put in HBA travel site. All right, because the page that I'm going to be using to connect everything to is a travel opt-in page. That's a demo opt-in page. All right, but that way I'll know exactly where it came from and you will too. So you just name it like that. And of course, we're going to be connecting all of this to the HBA Funnel Builder. So that's why I said HBA travel site. All right, hit create. And now you'll see your group right here, and you'll be able to see obviously your subscribers, open rate, click rate, all that good stuff. But the point of the matter is you've created a group. Now we can move on to our next step. All right, so the next thing that we're going to do, and this part right here is optional, meaning you may already know how to do it, or also that you don't necessarily have to do this step that I'm going to show you just to integrate everything with HBA. But I will tell you, it is smart to go ahead and do it since you're already in your dashboard. All it is we're going to set up an email. Just put in your first email. You don't have to put in your whole sequence if you don't want to, but maybe you have a welcome email. That way, when people do opt into your page, they will be able to get at least one email coming out that says, welcome to my list, or whatever it is that you want it to say. Okay. Now, when you join HBA, right? When you join me with HBA, you actually get access to some bonus email templates, all right, that will kind of allow you to be able to hit the ground running. You know what I'm saying? So that way you don't have to come up with everything right away yourself. All right. But the point of the matter is just put one welcome email. Now, another thing too is that you want to check that your automations are set up properly, right? That this integration is set up properly between Mailerlite and HBA, right? So my thought would be that how am I going to check it if I don't actually have an email in there, right? Because I'm going to opt into my own page at the end. So again, I will go ahead and put in an email. Even if it's something that you're not going to keep in there, that's fine. All right, so to do that, we go back to our dashboard. Um, and then you want to go over to where it says automations, okay? Because with MailerLite, automations are where you set up like your email sequence. A campaign is something different because at first I thought it would be a campaign, but it's not. A campaign is like when you send out a single email. That's not what we're doing. We're setting this up so it can be automated. So anytime a person opts into our page, they'll automatically get this. Like, so if you sleep, they'll automatically get the email, right? If you out with your kids, they'll automatically get the email, right? So we're going to go to automations. All right. And then the next we're going to do is going to hit create. All right. And then I'm going to use start from scratch. They have some templates or whatever. You can feel free to check out the templates if you want, but we're just going to keep it real simple and we're just going to go ahead and hit start from scratch. All right. And then it says guide subscribers through every step of the journey from the welcome email to desired. All right. And so this is just saying give it a name. All right. So we could give it a name and I'll just call it welcome travel email. All right. I'm just gonna just give it a name. You can name it whatever you want. Okay. So start building. Automation is going to trigger, right, to activate, right, when something happens. So we're just going to say when a subscriber joins our group, right? Because remember we created that group. Remember we created that group, right? So we're going to say when subscriber joins the group. So that way, whenever they opt in, and you'll see how we'll set that up on HBA in just a moment, right? But whenever they opt in, they'll be in that group. So we're going to say when they join a group, right? And then down here, you see from the drop down that it has the groups that we created. Now we created one group, so you see one. If you had created 5 groups, then you'll see 5, right? But we created one group. So go ahead and click the group that you want them in. And of course, we got one group, so we're going to say that group. All right. And if it was something that you wanted to exclude, but we're not excluding anything, we're just getting set up. We're not excluding it right there. All right. So we got that. It says, do we want another trigger? Nope. We're just going to go ahead and keep it simple right now. Hit save. All right. And you see right here, it updates and let you know. So when that person joins that group, boom, this email automation is going to be triggered. So now we can start setting up the actual email. All right, so we're going to hit this plus sign so we can add something to it. And you can add a delay. Um, Personally, I don't add a delay right here. But well, sometimes I do. It depends. If you want the person, basically, if you want the person to go ahead and receive the email that you want, that first email right away, then don't add a delay. All right. If you want it to be like, oh, they don't receive the first email for maybe like 15 minutes or whatever the delay is, then you can use a delay. All right. But we're just gonna go ahead and we're not gonna use a delay on this one. All right. But you can use what you want. And you see here where you can just kind of grab it and drag it over there. All right, and this is our email right there because it's saying basically when somebody opts in, they're going to get this email, and you could give the email a name. We'll just call it welcome, and then you could give it a subject line. All right, and I'm just typing something in. You can make it whatever you want. I just said you made it. Um, who is it from? Coach D, the sender, and this is my name right here when you signed up, with Mailerlite. All right, didn't mean to hit that button, but it looks like you could change it to whatever you want, but I'm gonna leave it at Coach D. Okay, then the sender email. Remember, this is the that domain email that we created, all right, that we authenticated. Okay, so it's already in there. The pre-header text, if you want one, I do recommend having a pre-header text, and that's just something that will show in the email before they open it. It'll like show right underneath the subject line before they open it. Kind of gets them to click it a little bit. And I just put I have something in store for you. All right. And yes, that is misspelled. Yes, it is. All right. And now let's see the email content. So let's hit design email. And I'm going to use the drag and drop editor. Hit continue. And then the video pops up. You couldn't watch that video if you have any other questions, of course. But I just say continue to builder. All right, so we can start. Now they already have some things in here, but we're not gonna use all of this, of course. We're gonna take some things out. All right, so we'll go over here to elements and we'll go over here to title and we'll just drop it in. And we'll say something like, welcome to my newsletter. Now, of course, you'll say something more snazzy than that. All right. Or if you already have a title, you'll just paste it in there. All right. But that's what we're going to put for now. And we can come back over here and we can put in text. Go back over here to elements, hover over it, and we can go to text. And we could just drop it, drag and drop it right there. And now you can put in whatever you want for your email. Okay. So I'll just leave that there because this is just a tester email. And notice that you'll have the unsubscribe information at the bottom that also has your address and everything like that you put in when you signed up for your account, so yeah, definitely put in a business address unless you want people to know your personal address. So obviously it's for business, so I recommend putting in a business address. And of course up here, if you have a logo and all that stuff, just basically create email however you want to create email. We won't go over like designing an email and all that stuff. You can just kind of play with it, or you can just hit up support, right? But the idea is just to create one. So I just moved this out the way. All right. And then once we got that, we'll go ahead and come over here. And you can do preview and test. So we'll say send a test email. And it'll pop in your email address. All right. So we can just send a test to your email address. All right, and once that test comes, of course, you check it. I just checked it on my phone. It came through. You just wanted to make sure that it came through. All right, so once it came through, you're fine with how it looks. Go ahead, hit done editing, and then we could go ahead and hit save. All right, and now that you saved it, you still want to activate it though, okay? So we'll go ahead and hit activate. And it just lets you know you're about to activate it, okay? So we're going to go ahead and hit activate. All right, so now we have that activated. So now we can move on to the next step in our process. And again, like I said, before we begin this process, this is optional. You don't actually have to set this up before you integrate Mailerlite with HBA Funnel Builder, okay? But I was just showing you, hey, since you're already here, just go ahead and put in one email so that way we can check everything, all right? All right, so And now you see that you're back out here and you see that everything is active. It says active. All right, cool. So now what we're going to do is we need to actually get ready to integrate inside of HBA Funnel Builder. All right. Now the process of integrating is like super simple. So it is possible that maybe you already had that other stuff set up. Okay, cool. This part is for you. That's all right. All right. So now what we need to do is we need to actually get our API key because you're going to be able to use your API key from Mailerlite because HBA Funnel Builder automatically integrates with Mailerlite, which is a good thing. Okay, that's great. Now, yes, HBA Funnel Builder integrates with a lot of autoresponders, and even if it didn't automatically integrate, you would be able to use sign-up forms to be able to integrate with it, which is also simple. All right, but in our case, we'll be able to just use a API key. So it's only going to take us a few moments. So here's how you get your API key. All right, now you can go back out to the dashboard. Notice every time I'll go back out to the dashboard, all right, just because I want to, see where I'm at from the beginning. But you also can catch everything from here without going to the dashboard. I just wanted to point that out. All right, so all we're doing is going to integrations, but even if we went to the dashboard, we'll still be able to catch integrations. I just wanted to point that out. All right, so go to integrations. All right, and now we're going to use the API. Okay, right here it says API, hit use. All right, and I don't have any APIs created, any API tokens created. So you're going to create a new API key. All right, so we'll generate new token. And it says give the token a name. All right, now this is just something so that you'll recognize which API key it is for, just in case you have a different one for something else. So in this case, I'm going to say for HBA, okay? Because it's going to be connected to HBA, all right? Now, and then you can choose between these. I just leave it on all IPs, all right? But you could choose what you want. And then down here it says, I have read and understood API token requirements. So you can read that if you like it, terms of use. But once you agree to them, then you check the box right there, and then you'll be able to create the token. Now notice here, I'll have the token blurred out, all right, because you don't want to share your API key. All right, so you want to copy it because we're going to use it on the next stage, but they also give you an option to download it as well. Okay, so you want to copy it and download it because they tell you that they're not going to show you this again. All right, so if you're like, oh man, I need my API key again, that's why you want to download it to your computer so that way you have it. But for right now, we're going to copy it and download it. So it'll have a copy button right here. You can hit copy, and then we'll go ahead and download it so we'll have it on our computer. And you see it'll go into your computer. All right. So we'll click out of that, and you'll see right here that the API is created. Now what we're going to do, because we have it copied already, right? Cool. Now we're going to take this over to our HBA Funnel Builder. Okay, so let's go over there. All right, in our funnel builder, you want to go to whatever funnel area and whatever page that you want to, integrate on. Okay. So for this one, I'm going to use this page in this funnel area right here. And I say funnel area because inside of HBA Funnel Builder, we're able to have different funnel areas. So that way we can kind of keep things separate. Most people only have one funnel area though. So don't worry about, oh my gosh, where are my other funnel areas? Da, 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 da. Most people only have one. Okay, so this is probably your only one. All right, cool. So you want to connect this API to your funnel area where your page is. This is the page we're going to be connected it to. All right, so this is the area then. Boom. So let's go ahead. You're inside of your funnel builder tool at this point. Okay, inside of HBA. All right. So now you're going to hit this little wheel cog right here for funnel settings. And then go over here to applications. And then over here it says add application. And notice any applications that you add will be here. All right. So obviously you see I already have Aweber connected, but I'm going to go ahead and connect Mailerlite. So hit add application. All right. And then we're going to go down and scroll down to Mailerlite because remember I told you it's already, automatically connected in. So that's great. So hit connect. And then immediately it's going to say, okay, well, what's your API key? And that's why we wanted to copy it because we need to put it right here. So we'll paste it. And once we paste it, then we'll hit the green button that says send and verify. So you won't be able to actually see my API key. All right, now it is there and it's connected to our funnel area. Now we can actually add it to our form. So this is our opt-in form right here. All right. And I'll let you see what it looks like. All right. This is just a demo form that I made because of course in HBA we can play with as many pages as we want, you know, different businesses. If we have our own different businesses or different things we want to promote, like maybe you're an affiliate marketer, you have like 5 different things you want to promote, cool. You can make pages for everything. So I definitely like making pages and templates for people who you know, join HBA. All right, and you can get access to any of my templates when you join HBA with me. All right, so anyway, this is the one that we're going to just, you know, use this as a tester. So we come back here inside the builder, and this is how we're gonna connect it inside of the builder. Go ahead, click on the form. Okay, you're gonna click on the form. This is the opt-in form. All right, we're just gonna click on the form that we want. So that way, when somebody opts into this form, they will go into our group, right? They call it a group on Mailerlite, and then they'll get that email that we want to have come out. All right. So go ahead and hit the edit settings, the little cog right here. And then down here on the edit settings, down here now it shows up Mailerlite settings, right? Before you actually integrate things, you wouldn't see that, right? You wouldn't see where it says Mailerlite settings, but because we integrated it, right, with our funnel area here, then boom, now we see it. Hit Mailerlite settings. And now you see this right here. This is our group. Remember, we only created one group, but had we connected this part first and then tried to go here, we wouldn't have seen that group because we wouldn't have created that group yet, which it doesn't mess anything up. You would just have to go and create the group. So it's okay. You know, it'll update it on its own. You know what I mean? When you create new groups, like even if you go back now to Mailerlite and create like 2 more groups, maybe it's 2 more groups that you want to do, right? It's okay. You could go back and do that and then come back and refresh and then it's going to be there. So it's all good. But I just chose to do it this order so that way it'll be a little bit smoother for you. Okay. So anyway, you check the one that you want. We only got one, right? And hit confirm. And then don't forget to hit save. Notice the green came up right here for save. Don't forget to hit save. All right, so that way now when a person opts in, then they will be able to go onto your group inside of Mailerlite. All right, once you got that, there's one thing that I want you to check. And I want you to check if you want it to be where the double opt-in is turned off. I'm going to show you how to do that, okay? And basically, the difference between double opt-in and single opt-in is when a person opts into your page, if you have double opt-in set, they'll receive an email from Mailerlite saying, hey, you need to basically opt in again, you know, click a button that says, yes, you wanted to receive this email. All right. Now, there's pros and cons to using the double opt-ins. You choose, but the single opt-in means once they opt into your page, they're on your list right away. They don't have to do nothing else to get on your list. They're there. All right. Now, personally, I use single opt-in, but again, there's pros and cons to anything, but I just wanted to show you because when I set up my account, the double opt-in was off by default, which is what I want, but that may not be what you want, right? So I'm just going to show you how to check that. All right. All right. So we're going to go back over to your Mailerlite account. Go to the dashboard if you're not there. And we're going to go down to account settings. And then we're going to go down to subscriber settings. And then over here where it says double opt-in for API integrations. All right, over here is right here, this toggle. Okay, so it's gray already. It's to the left and it's gray already. That means it's off. That means the double opt-in is off. If you want to enable the double opt-in, then you would click this to click it and toggle it and it will turn green. Okay, we don't want to turn it on. I don't want to turn it on. If you do, then you click it and you turn it on. Okay. And that is how you set that. Because like I said, it's up to your preference on how you want to do. There's pros and cons to all of it. But now you know how to do it. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and test our integration to make sure it's set up right. Because if it's not, then we got to go back to the drawing board now, don't we? All right, let's go back over to our page. All right. And we already have our page open here. I'll just refresh it. All right. And so we're going to opt into our page and we just want to make sure that we get the email. So let me go ahead and put in some details. All right, put in some details and I just sent it over again to just a tester page. All right. So is that important that it went over to a page that doesn't make sense, right? All right. What's really important is to make sure that I got the email that I wanted. So I'm going to check on my phone. All right. Boom. Make sure I got the email. It says, Coach D, you made it. You made it. You made it. All right. So I got the email that's letting me know that I made it, right? The welcome newsletter. I got the email. All right. Now, also, we should be able to see the subscriber back in our Mailerlite campaign too, in our Mailerlite account. So we go back to our dashboard, go down to our subscribers, and now you see I have that subscriber down here, and you'll see that subscriber as well. So that's letting you know that everything worked. You got the subscriber showing in there. I got the email, it came through on my phone. Everything's good to go. So now you're good to go ahead and start giving out that page so you can start collecting leads and getting more sales and making more money into your business. Well, all right. Hopefully you found this helpful on how to set up the Mailerlite integration with the HBA Funnel Builder. All right. And hopefully it was an easy step-by-step tutorial, just like I told you. All right. So guys, if you don't already have HBA, grab it down at my link down below. But either way, I do have a free resource for you. All right. First link in the description I'll put down, and you can find out some more tips that I use to be able to create more leads and more sales in my business. All right. And I do this all with free traffic. All right. So I'm giving you some insider tips. Just click the link down below in the description or in the comment section. All right. And you can check out that 100% free resource. Other than that, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and ring that bell, baby, so you can be alerted next time we come up with content, because we definitely bring it to you every single week. All right. Other than that, y'all already know what we're going to do, baby. We're going to take this ride to the top. All right. And I'll see you on the next, and we out.